Hi everyone, thanks for checking out my set of tools for Blender. I'm just going to run through how to install them real quick and kind of show you what they are. So once you have the tools downloaded, you want to go to Edit, Preferences, and make sure you go to the Add-ons tab and click the Install button. Navigate to wherever you have them downloaded. For me, they're on my desktop. Just click them and install add-on, and they should pop up. And then click the little checkbox to enable. And then once it's installed, you have to change one key map. So if you go click on the key map tab and search for play, you'll see this play animation, and it's mapped to the spacebar. I usually just turn this one off. But if you want to add a custom key map, you can just search for B tools and then change this key map to whatever you want it. I just like the spacebar because it's quick and easy, but feel free to change it and mess with it however you want. Once it's installed, there are a few things it does. First, it installs this sort of side tab, the side tool panel, with just kind of quick access to a lot of Blender functions and then a few that I wrote myself. And you also get access to my modeling hotbox. So if you add a mesh, Shift A, and I'm just going to add a cube. Right now we're in object mode. If you hit spacebar or whatever you mapped that hotkey to, you'll get this context-sensitive hotbox, which is what I thought to be the most useful commands for this mode. So if you have multiple separated objects, split by loose parts, apply delta transforms, all transforms, smooth shade, flat shade, center pivot, and then set the pivot to the cursor. If you hit tab to go into edit mode, right now we're in vertex mode, and you hit play, you can see that these commands change to vertice commands. So we have some merges, chamfer, smooth verts, delete verts, and the knife tool. So if you select two verts, merge last, merge first, merge center, etc. All those are there for quick and easy access. Chamfer, just brings up the bevel command, and you can always go down here and adjust them if you want to get exact numbers. If you press 2 to go into edge mode, loop cut, bevel, bridge, extrude, crease, edge slide, dissolve, and the knife tool again. So if we select an edge, spacebar, bevel, we can quickly bevel, change segments like we usually do. So they're all there very quick. Go to face mode by pressing 3, click on a face, same thing, extrude by normals, the knife tool, you can inset faces, you can flip the normals, shade smooth, shade flat, and this Smart Extract is a tool that I wrote, so let me extrude in. And basically what it does is any face or selection of faces you have, if you hit Smart Extract, it will basically make a copy of those, separate it out to a new object, but it'll fit exactly. So I use this a lot if I'm making little insets for screws for hard surface modeling, or anything kind of like that. I'll maybe extrude in or bevel an edge out, and then use this Smart Extrude or Smart Extract to just kind of make a nice clean pool from that, and then continue modeling. So if we bevel these insides and add a few divisions, we can go back to face mode, select these guys, and then Smart Extract, and we have a perfect copy that we can use and to continue modeling from. So I find it really handy for hard surface. Hopefully you will as well. And that's it for the hotbox. So if that's all you want to look at, you can quit the video here. I'm going to talk about the toolbar next. So I got rid of my old mesh and just brought in just a standard cylinder. And so what I want to show you now is the mesh tools panel. So that there are a lot of the same tools that are in the hotbox are also in this tools panel. So you have center pivots, pivot to cursor, but there's a couple other useful things. You can toggle wireframe. You can quickly add, if you have the object selected, you can quickly add like a 2x2 lattice, 3x3, or a 4x4. And they should work, you know, no matter where your object is in space. You should just be able to click and add a lattice. So let me go back to the cube, and let's just subdivide it a few times by adding a subdivision surface modifier, just so we get some extra resolution, and we'll hit apply. So with the object selected, I can add a 3x3 lattice, hit tab, and now I can grab these lattice points and start manipulating them around. So it's just kind of a shortcut to, you know, add a lattice without having to go into, you know, the modifier panel and doing it individually. It's just, you know, kind of a quick shortcut. And you can see it did add the modifier, and once you're done, you can hit apply and delete your lattice object. So I also added these auto smooth functions here. So they'll look at your object and basically just, it's a shortcut to set the auto smooth normals. So let's add a little bit of detail to this guy here. So we'll extrude, and maybe we'll do a quick inset, and we'll push that up. I could have beveled, but that's okay. We'll bevel these bottoms here, and maybe increase those a little bit. Okay. So now if we look at this object, everything's a hard edge. We could go into here and smooth shade, or try our best to guess these, but these are just quick shortcuts. You can click and you can see how it smoothed out those bottoms, but kept that hard edge there. With a 30, 45, we can start to see what is smooth and what isn't, and 60 as well. So let's try 30. And another thing I tried that I had in other programs that I thought was very useful is this hard edges to seams. So basically, to look at the model, any hard edge, it will automatically create a seam. So I'll click that there, and you can see it cut along. So each of these would now be a UV island if we unwrapped them, and these would all be one UV island but cut there. So you can quickly, go into face mode. We'll go to X-ray, select everything, U on the keyboard, unwrap, and if we go to the UV editing, you can see that it did a very quick unwrap based on that. So I find that's very useful for hard surface. An awesome shortcut that I wanted in Blender, and so I made it myself. Again, if you go down to the face tools, extrude by normals, all those functions are still there. Inset, flip normals, and the smart extract that also exists in the Hotbox. Edge tools, loop, bevel, extrude the edges, creasing, and bridging are also there. The same chamfer and merging tools are there as well. And this last little box here is, I'm going to make this available by itself as well for those of you that work in Unreal Engine, but these are just very quick shortcuts to add collision mesh that are automatically named and readable by Unreal Engine. So let's say I just add I'll just go ahead and add a cube, and I'll switch this over to the viewport shading, and right now this doesn't have a material, so it's just white. And I can click let's go ahead and rename this to something, let's call it box. And so if we click the UBX, which in Unreal nomenclature, that's the box collision. So if we click that, what it will create is this UBX underscore box underscore 00. And so if we hide our box, we'll see that it made this blue transparent box. And when you export both of these together as one FBX or OBJ or whatever, Unreal Engine will look at this and automatically create a collision based on this object, and it won't be seen in the game engine. Which is really handy. It's very nice to have that for me. I was just, if you wanted to name these yourself, I don't know. It's doable, but it just takes a while. So maybe you can manipulate this one, push it down, and make sure you go back to your object. You can add another one, UBX collision, and it'll automatically name it. So you can select that, modify it, and do your thing. So there's that. Let's go ahead and add the monkey, And UCX in Unreal is the convex collision. So if you click that, it'll try its best to sort of wrap the object. Let me hide the monkey here. It tries its best to sort of wrap the object with mesh. And then I added if you click on the collision mesh, there's the decimate, so you can adjust that ratio if you want less detail or if you want more. But with the UCX collision in Unreal, it can't have sort of, you can see how the monkey kind of cuts in and back out. You can't have these concave shapes. So this is just a shortcut to add, sort of wrap the mesh and rename it. And like you can manipulate this and add another one if you want to as well. So let me go ahead and delete the collision mesh. Go back and make sure you always have to have the object you want to add collision to selected. And so the other one, UCX, it's just a shortcut to sort of add a box. So if you wanted to kind of make a custom UCX collision, you could just start with a box and then just use the go into edit mode and start using the tools that you want and try to match up and kind of create your own convex collision. And something like this could work as well. And yeah, UE4 would create the mesh based on, or create the collision mesh based on this mesh. And then the last two, if I go on object mode and delete, the last two, there's just a shortcut to add a sphere for sphere collisions, and you can adjust that. And then there's also a cylinder, and the cylinder works, both the sphere and cylinder, actually they all work best if your rotation is zeroed out on your main object. So that's something you just want to make sure you do go into Control A and apply your rotation values before you use that. But that's basically my tool set. I'll be working on these off and on, between now and forever. So keep an eye out if there's an update. Thank you so much for supporting my work, and I hope these are useful. I've found them useful these last few months, kind of using them on my personal projects. And feel free to get back to me with any feedback or suggestions. I would love to hear it. Thanks, everyone.